be by your side. Learn more at iredellhealth.org.
DrumLandscapeSupply.com. DrumLandscapeSupply.com. DrumLandscapeSupply.com.
Honey, what are you doing?
Oh, I figured if I rubbed my lawn and said DrumLandscapeSupply.com, I'd have the dream lawn I've always wanted.
The following is a paid program and does not necessarily reflect the views of WSIC.
I want to see the kind of industries that are opening up.
This is Local Biz Now with Joe Vagnone, where your business matters. Local Biz Now.
You have to determine what is working, what isn't working.
Joe Vagnone is a respected business broker, helping individuals buy and sell businesses. Joe has successfully owned and operated many companies in a variety of industries. This is Local Biz Now, because your business matters.
Yeah, you are listening to the #1 live talk business show in North Carolina. We're coming to you live from Burner Cigar Studio, home of the finest premium cigars and cigar smokers in the world. Life is good at Burner's Cigars. Go on by there and tell them that Joe sent you. We hope to inspire, inform, and entertain you, because that's what we do here at WSIC News Talk WSIC. 105.9 FM, 100.7 FM, 1400 AM. I am Joe Vagnone. This is Local Biz Now, and if it's Monday afternoon, your business matters. And every Monday afternoon, I got to have somebody carry the show, and this month it is no exception. I have my friend, whether he will admit it or not, Austin Helms. He is the founder of New Blue Service Group. Austin, my friend, thank you so much for being here, buddy.
Glad to be back.
So, Austin, quickly, let everybody know what New Blue Service Group is all about.
New Blue is an electric, plumbing, and HVAC company that's headquartered here in Cornelius. But we've got offices in Charlotte, Fayetteville, North Carolina, and Greenville, North Carolina.
And so we met, is it 5 years ago, 6 years ago?
At least. It might be 7, 8 years ago.
Yeah, you're right, because you were one of the very first speakers at my small business event that I put on every year that I've been doing for 11 years.
Yep.
And you were one of the first, so it's probably 9, could it really be 10 years?
It's close. It's close, for sure.
And I remember somebody said, it was Mike Griffin. He said, listen, I really don't want to talk, Joe. I appreciate you inviting me, but why don't you have Austin do it? And I'm like, oh, come on. I don't want no little kid getting up there talking for my small business event. Come on, man. He said, no, man, really, he's a sharp kid. And you come limping up in crutches, and just stole the show away. The women just loved you. And what you talked about was the Zoom Up program that you were helping the Griffin brothers put together. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so Zoom Up is an investment platform that the Griffin Brothers company launched that was investing in 25 to 35-year-olds to get into the trades. It's either investing, acquiring, or starting from scratch trade companies. And they ranged from high-end limousine businesses to HVAC businesses to a restoration company that could come in and restore an entire Walmart. It was really, you name it, they were trying to look at it. The dirtier, the better, we used to say.
So if somebody still wanted to do that, could they still knock on the door of the Griffin brothers, or have they closed that and are focusing, helping you guys on that?
I know they never turned down talent. They haven't I don't think they're actively pursuing any new deals, but it's griffinbros.com/ZoomUp, or you can just go to griffinbros.com and click Zoom Up. It's one of the tabs. But yeah, they invested in about 8 or 9 businesses over the course of about 5 years, but they've stopped over the last couple of years and just trying to mold the current businesses they've got.
Right. So I did not know this, but last week you told me you kind of consider yourself an IT guy, like you tried to start an IT business before this. Did I get that right?
Yeah, I wouldn't say I'm an IT guy. I'm a big vision guy. So I have a lot of IT friends who are very, very good at what they do, but I love finding different issues and different problems.
You want to be Steve Jobs. That's what you want.
Yeah, I guess you could say, but just not as big of a butthole as him. But yeah, big vision guy. And I love to find, there's so many problems in everyday small business that, so many different ways that you could impact and create efficiencies that are just not being done, especially in the blue collar space.
Right. And so how long have you actually been operating the New Blue?
2019 is when we launched.
And last week you mentioned to me that it was like this big surprise for you. Like what you thought it was going to be running and starting and growing this business is completely different. Explain that, because there's a lot of people out there thinking about starting a small business that have no idea exactly what they're in for.
Yeah, I mean, the part that you could never turn anything off, there was no off switch. Honestly, it's sexier and then way less sexy in some occasions. Just kind of depends on. And then the other thing is, like, you can't please everyone. I think that was the hardest part for me. Like, you can't get to every job. You can't satisfy every customer. And for me, I was like, no, I'm going to, because this is what I said I was going to do. But it's just impossible. I mean, I thought I was going to give myself a heart attack at 26 years old, and I had to learn how to create balance in my life, so I would not do that. And I think that was one part that no class in a business school taught me. It had to be learned. I had to fail. I had to make people angry. I had to mess up. But having the humility to tell someone, hey, we didn't do this job correctly. Here's a $13,000 check to make it right.
Right.
And that stuff nobody prepared me for, and
Right.
I had to do it, and I had to fail. And I'm really appreciative of Mike Griffin for giving me the opportunity and giving me the leeway where I could go out and just fail.
Right.
But for that, I don't think that I would be sitting here today. I might be, working for some other
Run
private
out of
equity
money
group.
or opportunities, or people wouldn't give you a second chance and that sort of stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
And I'm glad you said that, because that is what the Griffin brothers are doing with this Zoom Up. They really are making sure that there's sort of this safety net.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
Because without that, there's plenty of other companies like yours that didn't make it, that could have,
Yep.
but they didn't have the resources to make it through the mistake that we're all going to make.
Yeah, we grew very, very quick. We did not acquire any business. We went from 0 to 20 million inside of 4 years, and that would never have been possible but for the Griffin brothers helping us and guiding us and allowing the funds to be there. I mean, organically doing that and just
Right.
doing all kinds of advertisements that I didn't know what to do. So
Right. So, what advice would you give somebody that finds themselves in the middle of that mistake? Because we're going to make it, right?
Yeah.
The mistake is coming.
Yeah.
We don't know where, don't know when, but it's coming. What advice would you give them?
you always just, for me, looking back, just ask the customer, how can I fix this problem? And whatever they say, you do it. You don't try and give them 50% of what they ask for. You just do it. So like if I ask for a full refund, give the person a full refund. Do not try and get around it. Just ask people, hey, I messed up. What can I do to make it right now? And if they say you're never going to make it right, then there's nothing you can do. But most people are reasonable enough to tell you, hey, here's how you can make it right. I may never do business with you again, but here's how you can make it right, and do it.
Right.
Because I did it in many instances, and it bit us in the butt.
It's so funny you're saying this, and it brings back a family memory. Years ago, we were in a Friendly's restaurant with my wife and,
That's a good spot.
and son.
Wow.
And the waitress made a mistake, and my wife was just arguing with her. And the waitress was arguing with my wife about this. And I looked at the waitress and I said, well, why don't you just ask her what she wants? And so the waitress says, what do you want? And my wife says, I don't know. I want something free.
Yeah.
And again, it's just satisfy them, whatever it might be.
Exactly.
Free shake, and this is all over with.
Yep, exactly.
Let's take a break. We'll come back. We'll talk some more.
Awesome.
You are listening to Local Biz Now. I am Joe Vagnon, and I am here with the founder of New Blue Service Group. We'll be right back.
More Local Biz Now with Joe Vagnon is coming up on 105.9 100.
I thought he said
Got
2.
my
I mean,
number.
2 seconds. I went, oh,
The
gotta start
countdown.
talking faster.
Where's my countdown? Where's my
I
countdown?
thought you said 2.
What do you mean your countdown?
2, 3, 1.
You didn't hear it?
He did. I heard him. He
I
just
mean,
said,
on the screen. No.
Oh, they're doing that again?
Yeah, they've
didn't
always
know.
been doing that. And
That's not true. When have I ever done that?
2 means 2
Oh,
minutes,
right,
right?
right.
2
Yeah, 2
minutes.
minutes.
Okay, I thought you said 2 seconds. And I went,
No.
Joe, no, I don't hear it. my hearing. I don't bring my hearing aids with
me. I used to hold
me.
up those papers for you.
Oh, that okay,
And
you
they
do the
took my
paper. Paper. Okay, you were doing paper. You know what? Superstar learned how to do quality, and he got the little white little box. It got the little clock that.
That's not quality.
Yeah.
Man, you've done well for yourself. That's fantastic.
Yeah, it's been a heck of a ride, but we had to rebrand the business in its entirety. That cost a bunch of money. We got to 8 cities at one point, and then so we started the business, rapidly expanded the business, rapidly rebranded the business, rapidly retracted the business. So now we're in 3 main hubs, and we're trying to dig deep there. So Charlotte, Fayetteville, Greenville. But we had locations in every major city: Asheville, Winston, Raleigh, Wilmington, and all those other ones. Yeah. And we still have a South Charlotte arm, but it was hectic. That was.
Why'd you do the rebranding?
There was a group out of New York who owned a company called Ease. No, it wasn't even the company name. It was the name of their HVAC maintenance plan. It was called Ease Comfort. It was too close to Ease Plumbing. We started at the exact same time. You got papers now?
Yeah.
They hate me here at the station. You know that.
How did the event go last week?
You got about 45 seconds.
Thank you, sir. Okay.
I haven't jotted down the zoom up.
Patrick is listening. I'm going to tell Patrick you are a pain in my gagamuka, Joe.
I got the double volume there.
Okay.
Yeah.
The Renaissance Festival is back Saturdays and Sundays, now through November 24th. Justing knights, mermaids, fairies, dragons, oh my! Tickets available online only at renfestinfo.com. Don't miss it!
Call now to speak with Joe Bagnone at 844-STUDIO-4. It's Local Biz Now on 105.9, 100.7 WSIC. Local starts here.
Yeah. You are listening to the #1 live talk business radio show in North Carolina. We've been going strong for over 11 years. We have well over, I want to say I think we're close to 700 videos on my YouTube channel. Go to Joe Bagnone, business broker, and you can see all of those YouTube videos as well. We have interviewed well over 900 small business owners and community leaders over the years. We are live on the book, live on the tubes, live on the X. Those of you that don't know Joe Talk, that is Facebook, YouTube, and X. And I'm keeping an eye on Facebook. So if you want to ask a question or something like that, I'll try and catch your question in there. And as always, if it's Monday afternoon, your business matters. I have a co-host every month to keep this show running, and this month is no exception. It is Austin Helms. He is the founder of New Blue Service Group. Austin, buddy, again, thank you for being here, my friend.
Appreciate you having me.
So we were talking about your small business, and, I kind of made a joke that all the waitress needed to do is give my wife a shake, and it would all go away. But you hit on it, right? What does the customer wants? And provide it. Mm-hmm. And that's really the answer here that you're saying. That's the best way to resolve these problems.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And especially in our business, nobody wants to call an HVAC person, electrician, or plumber to their house.
I'm not happy when I call.
Yeah, and so you're already on edge. And so it's like, at that point, that's what we give all our pricing up front. We say, hey, here's what it's going to cost. It's not the old school mentality of, I'm outside smoking a cig, I'm going to lunch, and then I'm going to hit you with 6 hours. And you're like, 6 hours, you only did 20 minutes worth of work. So in our business, that's big for us, is just giving pricing up front. But, sometimes we just don't satisfy customers. And I think the biggest learning curve I had is that, I wanted to get to every call and wanted to satisfy every single customer. That's why we have a 4.9 on Google. We don't have 5. I wish we would, but
that bothers you, doesn't it?
Yeah, but my favorite thing is that look at Chick-fil-A on Google. Chick-fil-A has a 4.5. That just tells you that not everybody can be satisfied. That's right. I've never had a bad customer service experience at Chick-fil-A. I would give 28 stars if I could, but you can't. You only get 5.
That's right.
So people getting mad at Chick-fil-A, like you need to check yourself. But anyway.
Let's dig in with our guest.
Yeah.
And so he can get in on this conversation, and let's talk a little bit more about it. And I know he's sitting over there just dying to get in on the conversation and add to that some of your thought process. But before we do that, tell me some of the. Do you have communication with some of the other Zoom Up owners? How does that relationship work?
Yeah, so some of the guys I've babysat their kids because they wanted to go get a break.
Right.
So I have a very tight-knit relationship. One of the guys I call my big brother in Charlotte. I don't have any family members that live here. I've got, somebody fired someone. I want to know what the story was about. Like, how do you bonus your team members? How do you get jobs? Some of the guys we actually work with, like some of the companies. Like, for instance, we went to Asheville for Sasser Restoration, which is a company out of Greensboro that Griffin's invested in, and they needed help getting temporary water to an urgent care because the hospitals were getting overrun during all this crazy stuff from Helene. And so we worked with them, got 2 plumbers there immediately. And that's, it's a pretty cool resource because not many people can say, I've got a restoration guy and a plumber in my back pocket.
That's right.
And so we work with each other business-wise. I'm friends with a lot of them on a personal level. And then, I get to ask them advice that's more like personal to me. Like,
right.
What should you do in this situation with your girlfriend, or what you do in this situation with this employee? But then they ask me, which is pretty cool because most of the guys I'm much younger than.
Because in small business, it really is all one. There is no separation. It is all personal, and it is all business.
Yeah,
it's
exactly. Yeah, it's been it's almost like a brotherhood. I was never in a fraternity in college, but it's like a business fraternity that I just don't have to randomly I've never had business coaching or consulting because I've got all these guys that I can lean on and ask, and I feel like they're my coaches in a way.
Right.
And then they know people that know people, so then your network starts spider webbing, and so I know somebody that can get me to somebody.
It's funny because hearing you talk and hearing you make mistakes, I tell my clients this all the time. The worst thing about what I do is I have to live my mistakes over again through my clients, because I got to watch them making mistakes that if they would have asked, I would have told them don't do that. So I'm sure the Griffin brothers go home and they're like, oh, I can't believe Austin did that, right?
Yeah.
I did that 40 years ago. I wouldn't have done it again, right? So I'm sure that's happening. But you get the benefit of all the experience that they've got.
Mike loves to tell me that he knew I was going to make a mistake, but he said, he's like, you needed to go through that, and you needed to experience what that felt like.
Right.
But again, I feel like I've lived 5 business lives, and I'm 30, and it's, all the different things. But I've been pretty fortunate because I've had this Zoom Up program to walk through this.
Right.
This crazy path that's been the last 5 years.
And you are fortunate, and you did. I'm going to use the word, have an easy path into small business ownership. I don't want to diminish your what you've done, right?
Yeah.
But you really do have that safety net.
Yes.
Of Griffin Brothers. But what I want people to hear is they chose you because they saw something in you that was extraordinary. You are an extraordinary young man. I saw that in you when you spoke at the small business event. So you earned the right for them to tap you on the shoulder and say, let's go do this, right?
Yeah.
So I want to make sure everybody understands that, right? There are pieces to this puzzle that you provide that they cannot do without. There really is this great relationship.
Yeah, I think it starts from childhood. It starts from, the competitiveness I had as a kid to my neighbor, she read before me, and my mom instilled this hardworking. Well, if you want to read, you're going to have to read all the time if you're going to be as good as her. And so it's that, like, the ability to somebody tell me I can't do something, or just a challenge. Never been the most athletic person on any sporting event, but I love to work hard. And I think that's the opportunity they gave me was like, hey, if financial is a burden, don't worry about that. You just go out and work hard. You answer people's calls. You take care of as many people as you can, and follow the golden rule. And don't get ahead of your skis when it's speaking of like personal burn rate. And that's one thing Mike always harps on. Is like, I want to spend some money, but personal burn rate, just keep low burn rate very, very low.
Right. Okay, good.
Yep.
Let's do that. So let's introduce our next guest. His name is Michael Clegg. Am I saying that right?
You are.
And you let me know that everybody likes to call you Clegg.
That's true.
That's like a dude name, like this.
Old college
you a
thing
man's
that never
man.
died.
Okay.
That's right. Even my wife calls me Clegg, so a little bit weird, I get it, but works for us.
You are the CEO, managing partner of Q Works Group.
Yep.
And you have some other things, a leadership and keynote speaking business. You call it Leadership Squared.
Yep.
So we're going to kind of break it up and
Sure.
talk about those separately, right?
Yeah, happy to.
So I always like to ask people, how did we meet? How did we get here?
Yeah.
Because we don't remember actually meeting, but lo and behold, you know my older brother through coaching.
That's correct.
So you've been coaching high school football for how long?
Yeah, gosh, I think this is year 9 for high school football, but I've been coaching football for the better part of, almost 15, 16 years now. It's always been a hobby, always been a passion.
Right.
And how we met, I think it was through LinkedIn.
That's Julie. Everybody needs a Julie.
Everybody needs a Julie. And I'm pretty active on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a fantastic business tool. And for your listeners that are not utilizing it, absolutely should be utilizing it. And out of most of the, let's just call it social media platforms, it is the one that has the best algorithm for getting jobs. Really, truly is at this point. And
you would know that. So let's go there because your company, Q Works Group, is a headhunting firm.
It is.
And you specialize in
manufacturing.
Manufacturing. Yeah. Walk me through what that actually is. That's a rare, I don't know. I know a lot of headhunters.
Yeah.
Manufacturing
Including
is
your
a
brother,
unique,
right?
That's right, is a unique sort of niche. Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, so the company is over 20 years old. Myself, I have a business partner, purchased Q Works Group about 6.5 years ago. And we purchased it from a gentleman who is German. And interestingly enough, I think our niche, if you will, is in the German-American. We do Austrian and Swiss as well, in the German-American space. And he was German. Most people don't know this, but Charlotte is one of the largest cities in the U.S. for German-American companies.
I don't know why, but I did know that. Yeah.
I think a lot of that is manufacturing heavy, the Carolinas.
And I also know that they're exceptional people to work with. I mean, they have a UK work ethic is once I hire you, you will stay for. There is no firing,
no,
right?
It's very unusual, and it is difficult to find placements for those organizations because they're so specific in what they're looking for. And I think staffing in general is getting more complex as we go, right? You've got technologies, you've got more people that are looking to make moves more frequently. I mean, when I started working in the late 90s, it was taboo. I remember the first time it was 5.5 years, and I was leaving the first company that I was working for out of high school, and my parents were like, "You okay? What's going on?" Because my dad was in the military, then he left the military when he retired from the military, worked for Northrop Grumman. That's where he retired.
They're going to put that on your permanent record.
That's right. That's right. So where the average tenure right now is 3 years. So a lot has changed in my 25 years in the workforce, and I believe what we do and the services that we offer. We don't offer babysitting though, as Austin said earlier, which I think is tremendous. It really is a unique place to be, and it's getting more difficult because people are moving so quickly.
So we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk some more with Mike Clegg. For those of you that know him, Coach Clegg.
That's right.
You are listening to Local Biz Now. I am Joe Vagnone, and if it is Monday afternoon, can you do this, Austin? Can you say it? Can you say it?
Your business matters.
Yeah. JoJo looked like JoJo didn't think you did that. I thought he was good, Joe. We'll be right back.
That's awesome. I wasn't wanting to say wow.
That's funny. Yeah, babysitting.
I say babysitting?
Yeah.
Hey, did he get that sign, or he couldn't find the sign?
When did I say babysitting?
You said when he was asking about Zoom Up. You said, "Hey, I'll even watch your kids."
Oh, babysitting.
Why you got to show me
they
the
wanted
1 minute and give me a little attitude.
They wanted to
Like,
take
why
a
you
break
have to
one
do
day, and they
that?
said,
I'm concentrating.
So my friends on
and I look over there and I see
Skip
that
Town,
attitude.
which is the dog park.
Don't think I didn't
And
know
I
there was
texted them and I
attitude.
said, hey, can I get one of my friends to skip the line? Because they have like a 200-dog wait list.
I
And
don't
they said,
know the
yeah,
rules.
sure, we'll get them first in line, but you got to come watch our daughter.
I don't follow the rules. I
Daughter's
don't
like
know
9
that.
months old.
Oh my God.
I have 3 nephews and nieces, so I
Yeah.
guess they figured I could watch her.
9 months old.
She cried the entire time.
Oh, that's a handful.
Yeah.
That's great.
Okay, so when we come back,
About 2.5 minutes.
okay,
Anybody need it?
we good?
I'm good. Thank you.
So when we come back, I got to do this thing.
Okay.
And then we'll dig in again.
No problem.
Do you, Austin, want to talk anymore about you calling it halftime rentals?
No, that's just
No.
an investment, my buddy.
Okay.
My buddy runs that business.
Okay, I wasn't sure.
You should interview him sometime.
Okay.
He's at Portage on business, but he
Okay.
went and served all the Asheville stuff. He may end up having to move his business there. Got so much work.
Wow.
Because I mean, they still don't have water.
Right.
Downtown doesn't. No surrounding area in Asheville. Parts on the outside have, but there's
Yeah.
probably still weak. He called the Grove Park Inn and he asked them, like, hey, when do y'all open it back up? They said, at best, November.
Oh man.
Because that area is getting desperate. I mean, this is the time they make money.
Yeah.
I would hate to know how many weddings
Oh.
events
Oh.
that just got canceled.
Yeah, those are things I hadn't even thought about, is the events like that, and especially this time of the season.
Oh, yeah, and the concerts and you name it.
Awful. It really is awful.
No, I don't need to talk about New Blue.
I really was. I thought it was something you were doing. That was.
No, so my buddy and I invested to start it. He's a majority owner and operator. I just introduced him to
You're doing a little Zoom with him.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
But he was a 12-year P&G guy selling soap, and he quit to start the soup pumping business. So he's doing really well. He got to 500 toilets inside of 3 months, which is crazy growth.
Nobody likes him. Joe's got no friends.
That's all right.
Big tech companies need a lot of power to run those data centers. That's why Google's investing in next-generation nuclear power, backing a California-based company.
Jojo, you ready when I say fire it up, or you forgot how to do? Oh, you almost forgot. Okay. All right. All right. He got no friends. Nobody likes him.
What happened to the new guy? Did he get fired?
No, the new guy did so well that they didn't put him with Joe anymore. See, that's what happened. If he's good at what he does, they move him out of here.
He got promoted out.
It's Local Biz Now with Joe Bagnone on 105.9 100.7 WSIC. Local starts here.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, wow.
Local Biz Now. If it's Monday afternoon, say it, say it, say it, say it.
Yeah. Your biz matters.
We got to work on it. You got a couple more weeks. I tell people all the time, that's why we let you do the co-host for an entire month, because it takes you a month to figure it out.
He has that Wolfman Jack thing going for him, but he's too young to understand who that is.
That's right. You're exactly right. You're exactly right. I'm here with Michael Clegg. He's the CEO and managing partner of Q Works Group. And Michael, I'm sure you and I can agree that we are here with the future of our small business, Austin Helms. I'm sure when we hear him, it reminds you of things you and I went through over the years.
Absolutely. Quite impressive.
One of the things is he had mentioned, I saw on your website, which was you wrote an article or have a talk on my biggest mistake.
Right.
Which sounded like it was similar to his mistake.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about that? Because he'll find this kind of interesting. It's almost like business never changes, people never change, right?
Well, it's interesting. One of the things that Austin was talking about, the customer is always right. And I think really I translate that as to find what the need is and fix that, right? And my biggest mistake was really about being liked more than respected. And now I'm talking internally, not externally. And that was one of the reasons, as I look through my journey in leadership, I've been a leader for the better part of 20 years now, and opening and founding Leadership Squared, which is leadership development company because there are so many organizations that are really suffering from poor leadership. And it's a buzzword now to talk about leadership and culture and all these great things, but very few people are doing it well. And one of the reasons why is we are still, and this is not just a small business, this is all business at this point, are still hiring for skills and firing on behaviors. But yet we don't measure behaviors on the front end at any level that I would deem acceptable to understand if someone's going to be a cultural fit inside of your organization. And, my biggest mistake was absolutely worrying so much less about the business and more about the people, which isn't a bad thing on the surface. But there's also a big difference of being nice and being kind. Being nice is not telling someone something that might be hurtful to them that would actually benefit them. Being kind is actually letting them know now, because when you're nice and you don't give someone feedback, that ultimately comes to show itself down the road.
Do you use any tools like in your current business? Like which tools do you use for hiring?
Yeah, I use a tool called PDP, which it's a behavioral assessment. They call it a behavioral survey. I wish this company, they're based out of Colorado Springs. I wish they would market, but ironically, they're a group of it's a family business. They're a group of mathematicians that put this program together back in the 70s, and they do zero marketing on it. Zero. Now they continue to put money into the tool. It's a phenomenal tool. And I've been certified in a lot, DISC and predictive index and cultural, I'm drawing a blank on this CDI. But anyhow, I've been using PDP for about 7 years because it is behavioral based. There's no right or wrong. You're not getting labeled, hey, Joe, you're a whatever it may be label. It is strictly on behaviors. And the thing that I help people in the coaching aspect of it is about raising their level of self-awareness. There's a study of about 5,000 plus leaders, and the question was, how many of you have high self-awareness? And 95% said that they did. The study resulted in only 12 to 15%.
That's right.
The reason for that, though, is because they're not asking for feedback. And there's a different way to ask for feedback.
And they won't even accept the feedback.
They don't listen when they do get it. But, there's a different way to ask for feedback, because if you're working with someone in your organization that reports to you, there's still that separation, regardless how great a relationship, you're still the boss, they're the employee. So our job is to really minimize that gap. And the only way to do that is really truly by developing a deeper relationship and by having tough conversations, because so many employees are waiting for the other shoe to drop.
Okay,
so
let's back up.
Sure.
So how does Austin, we'll use Austin as an experiment, okay?
Yep.
So how does Austin make his staff members or whomever it is he wants to talk with, right? I'm sure you've got directors in each one of your states, right? How does he make them comfortable enough to tell them what he needs to hear, because they probably know he doesn't want to hear it.
That's right. He's the last one to know usually.
How does he do that? How does he set the stage so that the information will come to him? Because if you just call them, they're going to tiptoe around it. They don't. It's a Friday
Austin,
afternoon.
You're great.
Yeah, you're great, Austin.
We have Taco Tuesday. We love that you do that.
So how does he do that?
Yeah, no, great question, Joe. So once again, I think as an organization or as a leadership team, there are 4 steps to connection. There's having one-on-ones, skip level meetings, what we call breaking bread, which is a casual, kind of what we would call a water cooler conversation.
Right.
And then there's something called a stay interview. But most people, when we ask for feedback, I would say, let's say Austin reported me, I say, hey, Austin, tell me how I did. Give me some feedback on that. That's very different than if I said, Austin, I'm really looking for your advice here. Just listen to the difference in the question itself. When you ask for feedback, you're going to get that, what I call the crap sandwich. You're going to hear something good, the issue, which is only going to be half the issue, and then you're going to get something good again. When you ask for advice, people are genuinely, it drops their guard. They look at you and go, okay, this guy's really looking for my advice. And when you do that, that changes the paradigm. But going back to the 4 steps of connection, if you don't do those, if you don't have those 4 steps, first off, you have to have regular one-on-ones with the people that are your direct reports. They want to talk to you, right? Even when they do something bad, they want feedback. They want to know where they are, because once again, most people have been taught, just because of previous bad leaders, that the next shoe's about to drop.
So, two things.
Yeah.
First of all, he said something which is interesting, which is if I simply ask, how'd I do, I'm going to get a sandwich, right?
Yep.
Good, bad, good, right? That's interesting. I didn't know that, okay? Yep. I can't wait till Joe asks me how he did, and I can give him a sandwich. Anyways, but the other thing you said, which was really interesting, you were suggesting that the best way to gather information is to have a planned time that if I work for Austin, I'm going to get a chance to talk with him.
Absolutely.
I didn't know that. In other words, a guy like me, it almost like, oh, are you kidding me? I got to talk to him again. You know what I mean? But you're saying they really want to.
Absolutely.
They want that planned moment that, and I'm going to take notes so that when he calls me at 9 o'clock, I'm ready to go over the 5 or 6 things.
Yeah.
Did you know that, Austin? I did not know that.
Well, see, I think it depends on the manager too, because it's like me and you're probably similar. Like if you ask me how you're doing, I'm just gonna if you're so I know color code and culture index. So if they're a blue and they're really tied into feelings and emotion, and I am not, and you say how I'm doing, I'm like, well, it didn't look like you did that great at that thing because it didn't result these numbers, and I just walk away. This person is devastated, versus hey, can I schedule a time? Yeah, let's get it on the calendar. Boom, okay, and I'm going to give somebody 10 minutes, and boom, 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 boom. But then if I'm a blue and a blue, so heavy emotion, I'm going to have that full. So I think to me, it all depends on who the manager is.
Well,
and who
but what he's saying is whether you're blue or red or whatever determines how the conversation goes. But the timing and scheduling is absolute.
100%.
That's what's
it's
interesting
the regular
to me,
intervals of these meetings that is the most important. And whether it's weekly in smaller organizations, that's entirely acceptable. But no less than monthly, you should be spending time with your direct reports. Truly, in every organization. That I don't care, green, blue. Yellow,
that's
red.
5 hours a month gone for you, buddy. You got 5 cities. That's 5 directors. Let me make sure. I want to make sure I'm understanding you.
Yeah.
So if he's got 5 areas, right? He needs to put aside 5 hours a month to talk to those directors a specific time every month.
I'll even take it a step further. It is the most important 5 hours that you'll have.
I didn't know that. That's an interesting thought process.
Yeah. Well, the reason for that is that we always say that the customer's first. No, that's wrong. Your internal people should be first, because if you're taking care of the people internally, your external customers are going to be taken care of. That's the problem we have right now, is that the engagement levels in organizations is like 26%. So if you really look at this, I think of a rowboat. Let's say you got 10 people on it, right? You got 2 people who are rowing in the direction. They're happy. They love working for Austin. You got 6 people who now the positive or the buzzword is called quiet quitting. Those people, they're sitting in the middle of the rowboat. They don't even have their oars in the water. They're not even rowing. Then you have 2 people at the other end of the boat that are actively sabotaging. Those are what I call the BCDers.
Cancers.
Those are the people that are blaming, complaining, and being very defensive.
So Clegg, see how I just pulled him in? He's like my bro now. So Clegg, here's my question. So Austin does the 5 director meetings. I'm making up a name, directors. I don't know what they are, right? Sure. You know what I mean? JoJo's in there laughing at me. Joe, stop laughing. I'm trying to do business here. Okay. Does his directors now have to spend an hour a month with their direct
100%.
line people?
Absolutely.
Okay, and so that's the training and the
Otherwise,
and the
there's such a lack of clarity if you don't otherwise.
Culture.
People,
that was trying to say.
Yeah.
Okay.
No. And in the 101, there's a 60-30-10. 60% is about performance. 30% is about career development. People want to know where they're going.
Okay, we got to take a break.
Okay.
And Austin's got to do Your Business Matters again correctly.
I love it.
Okay. But when we come back, the problem that you just mentioned, people like Austin and I, we don't want that. We don't want that. We don't like the structure. Yeah. We don't want the structure. We're doing what we do because we don't want this structure. Right. But I have to give it to the employees.
That's right.
So when we come back, we're going to talk about that, okay?
Sounds good.
This is Monday afternoon, and if it is...
Your Business Matters.
Yeah, there you go. We got it. We'll be right back.
That's awesome. That was pretty good. I got to give you this.
Dream job is to
We'll
be
return to
high
local
school,
Biz Now.
starting at guard, whatever you call it, PA announcer.
Yeah.
I've got a buddy who does it for. He's a
Thank you, JoJo.
10th grade teacher at
Oh, I completely forgot
Audrey
I was going to do
Kell?
burners and forgot.
But he's the he
I
does the
completely
soccer and
forgot.
football games.
I was ready.
That's
His
awesome.
voice is amazing. That.
Whoops.
Yeah.
That's
That's so
all right.
cool.
You got,
Whoops.
you got the final segment.
Okay.
And
Okay.
if I don't hear it, I'll remind you.
Okay.
Somehow.
Do people call into the show?
So what they do Facebook. They don't call in.
Oh.
They do. For example, the primary host of all of WSIC, the number one dude is Patrick Reynolds.
Mm-hmm.
He's listening right now, and he wants to give you some advice on how to say your business matters. And he says right here, put a period at the end of every word.
All right, got it.
Your business matters. So Patrick just gave you a
All
little
right,
bit of
got it.
advice if you choose to take it. You
Like it.
Thank you, Patrick. We appreciate that advice.
That's fantastic.
You know how that started years ago. I've been telling people I'm 11-year amateur at this, right? I really don't know what I'm doing. Whatever they tell me, that's what I end up doing. I'll complain about it, but I do whatever they say, right?
Yeah.
And so years ago, we're at the old radio station. This old radio station, I mean, literally it's 80-something-year-old history in this radio. It is like the oldest radio station in North Carolina. Wow. And I'm feeling this, and there's two different, I have a co-host, I've got two different guests, and they're all talking at the same time, and they're asking me questions, right? And then the radio, automatically, the guy says, go, right?
Yeah.
And then I'm looking, I don't know what to say, and I'm like, your business matters. And when it was over with, everybody laughed at me, right? And it just stuck. So
yeah.
I kept saying it,
Oh,
and
great.
11 years later, now it's a tagline.
Yeah, that's great.
I tell people I'm a genius.
It's not business.
Business.
Business. B-I-D.
That's right.
All right.
See, even I know.
Got it.
Business.
All right, guys, we got about.
We ready to do this?
About 20 seconds.
Okay. Patrick's going to critique you now, also.
Do I do it at
just
the
wanna
beginning?
warn
I
you.
can't remember.
Say what?
Is it beginning and the end?
I'm sorry.
It's at the beginning and the end.
Oh my! Tickets available online only at renfestinfo.com. Don't miss it!
Now more Local Biz Now with Joe Bagnone on 105.9 100.7 WSIC. Local starts here.
Yeah, number one live talk business radio show in North Carolina. We are prepping our next host to be skilled at this. So let's practice this. This is Local Biz Now. If it's Monday afternoon,
Your business matters.
There we go.
There we go. We got that.
I do think he had a Z in business, and not a D. I think it's a business, right? What is that?
Just so you know, for those of you that are on Facebook and also live on the radio, Patrick Reynolds, who listens to the show, sent me some instructions to make sure Austin did that correctly. So that's why we
Thank you,
wanted to do
Patrick.
that correctly. Now, Austin, you're gonna have one more time to do that
one more.
correctly at the end of the show, and we'll get Patrick to critique that and see if you got that right or not.
He's going to come in and tackle me like a linebacker.
The person we're picking on is Austin Helms. He's the founder and partner of New Blue Services. Austin, thank you, buddy, for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you for letting us pick on you. Michael Clegg is here. He's the CEO and managing partner of Q Works Group. He also has a leadership coaching company called Leadership Square. So, Michael, I told you that Austin and I don't want the structure. We don't want your formality. We don't want to have to do that every month. And you're saying, sorry, buddy, you're going to own a small business and keep a good culture. It's just something you got to do.
That's true. 100%.
Doesn't that make you sick, Austin?
Well, so there's alternatives too. So you could put someone in charge, right? If you're having a self-managing company, which I think is every entrepreneur's ideal, right? Is to work at the 10,000 foot level. Like, takes us years to get there, of course, as we all know. Then, the things that we don't do well, the things that are outside of our unique ability, there's three things we have to do. We have to delegate, eliminate, or automate. Those are the three choices.
Say that again.
Delegate, eliminate, or automate. The things that are not in our working genius, as we call it. Those are the three choices that you have. And we can't say we wonder why that culture is not great inside of organizations and not spend time with their people.
So we're going to take a quick break. I got to do this thing, and then we'll come back and talk some more about this. Fire it up, JoJo.
This is Josh Johnson trading in my fire hose for a different kind of smoke. Burner Cigar is where I relax, and you can too. Say goodbye to stress and hello to smoky dreams, because life's too short not to savor it.
I can't believe Josh said smoky dreams. That's pretty funny. If you cannot see this on the live radio, I am holding up a sign that says, "This cigar is on Joe." Go buy Burner Cigar in Birkdale Village or Highway 16 in Denver. If you hold up one of these signs and click and put it on social media, your cigar is on me. Go buy Burner Cigar. They're just an exceptional group of people. There's probably more fun, entertainment, and business done in a cigar shop than on any golf course in the state. I can assure you of that. I tell people a cigar is like this equalizer. Doesn't really matter who you are, what you do, where you've been. You light up a cigar and you can sit and talk to somebody for 45 minutes and they become your friend at the end of this. Again, go to Burner Cigar, tell them Joe sent you, and your first cigar is on me. Thank you very much. Thanks, JoJo. So let's get back to what we were doing. Michael Clegg, he has given me permission to call him Clegg.
Yep.
Coach Clegg, CEO, managing partner of Q Works Group. Also, he has a leadership coaching program that he calls Leadership Square. So, Austin, Julie has put on Facebook exactly what Austin was talking about: delegate, eliminate, or automate. What's your thought on that? Do you accept those? Is that something you've heard before?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's how we've been able to function and grow. I've got very, very, very structured people below me. We have a CPA, and we have a guy who loves level 10 meetings, which are the
EOS.
They help you have all the structured meetings.
Also, hire some of those people that like that structure.
Yeah. So my type of meetings are in the car, and they're 5-minute calls. And people know if they want to call me and they want to talk to me, I am always available. Yep. But level 10 for an hour and a half, because they're 90 minutes. And
okay.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, but they're very good and structured.
So let me ask the professional here. Is he okay with that he has delegated somebody else to have that conversation with them?
100%.
Yeah,
I mean, if it's outside of your working genius, you're not going to be good at it anyways.
Oh.
That doesn't mean that he's not good at it. It just means that
no, I'm not good at it.
You have to understand, like, I am a visionary. I've never seen a bad idea, right? So I also am the guy that loves starting projects but doesn't like ending projects. So if I don't put structure in place, I'm dead. I mean, I tell the story all the time about my wife and I first bought our home in 2001. And, I wake up on a Saturday morning, I'm fired up to go to Home Depot. I get the roller, the sprayer, staining. You got to understand, this backyard, like, I'm 3 strips and it was done. So it was really small home. So I go and I work all day, stay in the fence, gets dark, clean up, put everything away. 3 years later, my wife comes in and she goes, "Hey, Clegg, do you know you never finished the other side of the fence?" If I don't put structure in my life, everything will be that fence.
Right.
And so I know the things that I'm good at and the things that I'm not good at, but that's where self-awareness comes in.
Yeah, but here's my question to you.
Sure.
He said the accountant talks to the accountant people and the operations person talks to operations. But who talks to that key person? So he still can just have a phone call with that person and it's okay?
Yeah.
Am I asking that question
yeah,
right?
No, I think
I sloppy question.
No, I think I understand where you're going. So and I think before we went to commercial, I was talking about
I'm trying to get him
structure.
to work a little bit here.
Yeah, it's all good. It's all good. I had mentioned in the one-on-ones, it's really, you follow a method that I call 60-30-10, right? 60% is about the production. It's about the KPIs or OKRs, whatever is inside of your organization. You got to talk about the business because you have to understand how well you're doing. Right? 30% is about career development. You need to talk to your people about where they want to go. Most people have some level of ambition. If you're not talking about career progression, your competitor is going to talk to them about it. Right? So I see it as my job is to keep people. I don't mind my team talking to recruiters. It's my job to keep them in the organization.
Right.
And then that last 10%, it's the casual, maybe it's the 5-minute conversation. You're heading home, you pick up the phone, you you call your direct reports, whatever it may be. But it really does neutralize the relationship, and that's where you want to go, because it's got to be a relationship. Or, especially with the millennials and Gen Z, the data is overwhelming. They're less than 3 years in a job.
Right. So, did you want to add anything to that? You good with that?
No, I just think I would add is like consistency for me. It's like,
Absolutely.
It's key. It's like when you have these folks that are more integrators, it's the opposite of a visionary. They are very, very consistent, where visionaries are not consistent.
All over the
Right.
And so, like,
That's
for
our
me,
problem,
it's my
right?
every day I have to tell myself, it's like, in order for me to get a pulse in my business, you got to talk to the people.
Right.
And you got to see what they're thinking and what they're talking about. Even if it's about their dog for 2 hours, like you got to learn about Johnny the dog. I mean, but like you really need to know the people.
You do.
And level playing the field.
Well, part of Austin reminds me of me. You know what I mean?
Were you that good when you were younger?
I was going to say, I want to be careful, right? Not to put myself in the level of a Griffin chosen entrepreneur. But I literally started with a single sandwich shop inside of an office building and grew it to the largest closed market environment restaurant concept in the Southeast. And I tell people, number one, don't be impressed. They were just 1-2-man sandwich shops, right?
Yeah.
But that's what I enjoyed, opening up the next sandwich shop. Not creating the best sandwich shop that I could, right?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Totally get
and
it.
Austin reminds me of that he enjoys setting up new cities and that sort of thing. So that is a completely different skill set than operating those restaurants on a
But
day-to-day
you knew what
basis.
you were good at. And that's the difference, where most people don't take the time and the space to identify what they're really good at.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next thing is there's no such thing as work-life balance. You wrote an article on this on your website, but before we talk about that, because Austin and I touched on that earlier today, tell people how they can reach you if they want to talk to you about some leadership skills.
Yeah, I think the best way to reach me is probably through LinkedIn. I'm pretty active on LinkedIn, or via email at mclegg, which is MCLEGG at qworksgroup.com. Either one of those is fine. Those are likely the best two ways.
And so now talk about this no such thing as work-life balance. Talk a little bit about that. I'd like to get your thoughts on that, because you kind of heard our thoughts at the beginning of the show.
Absolutely. I mean, think about the story you were telling me. I believe it was about your son and his fiancée.
Yep.
They are building some roots in Winston-Salem, yet they're going to go live in multiple cities.
They have this modern day intentional thought of, in their case, going to different cities for 30 days at a time.
But they have the ability to do that because they are both remote workers.
That's correct.
And we have to understand where technology is today, right? And as long as we have our cell phones, we're never away from work. I don't believe in work-life balance. I don't think it's a true thing. I don't think it exists, especially for entrepreneurs. That's really tough. I do believe in work-life integration, because you have to figure out how to integrate the personal with the professional. And I haven't always done that. And I'm 50 years old. I'm still working on that.
So I want to get Austin's opinion on that, see if he agrees with that. But I just want to let you know, the reason why I've been doing this radio show for 11 years is because the owner likes for people to disagree with me. So it's okay to disagree with me. He calls it good radio. so Austin, do you accept what he's saying is that it is all one and there is no separation between work? Because you're in a little bit different situation than say I didn't have a partner.
I would say for people who are like the most successful people, I would say there is no work-life balance. But there are the 8-to-5ers that work, and they say that whole thing like, slams laptop shut. That's very much a thing. And I think there is work-life balance with those folks, but they probably could be reaching crazy heights if they would work it into their life.
So I'm sorry, guys. We got to do this again. Mike Clegg is here. He is CEO, managing partner of QWorks Group. Mike, how can they reach you again?
Yeah, mclegg at qworksgroup.com or on LinkedIn. Just look up Michael B. Clegg.
And Austin Helms is here, and this is Local Biz Now. If it's Monday afternoon, say it.
Your business matters.
Yeah! We'll be right back. JoJo is next with sports.
Serving you better than ever before. WSIC, Statesville, W290DK Mooresville.